Hello again, it's Connie Valentine, and today we are going to talk about how to change the meaning of what happened in your past and even what's happening today in order to create a new version of yourself, and also in order to kind of help you relieve any feelings of fear, anxiety or depression. So this is something that I came across when I was in my teens, 16, 17, 18-year-old, and I was learning to meditate. Those of you who have looked on my website or have heard my story before, I'm going to tell the story of how I came across this information and what happened to me as a teenager. I experienced a lot of depression and anxiety in my teens. This all sort of started as I approached the age of 16, and I was at high school, and I started to feel all the pressure from school, just the energy of people around me. There was a lot of stress and negativity. You know, if you didn't do things a certain way, you'd be a failure in life. I wouldn't get a good job, I wouldn't have any money, I would be on the streets. I just really took this to heart, the message of, you know, being a top performer in school. And I had always been a top performer in school. I was the A+ student, the nerd. You know, the all-rounder student. I was good at sports, I was good at maths, I was good at science, I was good at languages. I was pretty much an all-rounder, and I did fairly well. And then as I got towards, you know, finishing, you know, the elementary school levels up to age 16, you enter the higher education system. It was called VCE at the time in this country, in Australia. And the pressure increased. It was all about getting into a good university. If you didn't get into a good university, you wouldn't get a good job. You know, nobody would want to hire you. So I just took this on board really personally. I took this pressure on. I really embedded this message of, if I don't do well in school, I was going to be a failure in life. That at the same time as a lot of personal things going on in family life at home, parents separating in the past, and just me seeing that, you know, the fear and the suffering of my parents and the people around me, everything just kind of collapsed in on itself. And I think also there were some nutritional issues going on as well at the time. You know, and this is part of the reason why I studied and became a naturopath and a counsellor. As some of you know, I studied psychology, and I also studied the human body and naturopathy and nutrition and herbs, and I'm a naturopath now for this reason, to learn how to improve my health, as well as help others not go through the same thing that I went through. Because, you know, going through deep levels of depression, you know, having suicidal thoughts and things like that, it's really awful. It's not something I wish upon anybody. And unfortunately, the numbers of people, young teenagers, adults, you know, regardless of their position in life, the numbers are increasing. And, you know, having a look at the numbers of people on antidepressant medications and things like Prozac and sleep medication, the numbers are on the rise. You know, what's going on here? The system is broken somewhere. You know, we are being sucked into a world of, you know, fixing things by pills, and not even healthy herbal pills. You know, we're going into the artificial pharmaceutical drug medical band-aid solutions, and, you know, those things have a lot of side effects and a lot of detrimental effects. In fact, you know, some of the antidepressants actually cause suicidal thoughts. So, you know, have a think about that for a moment. You know, it's crazy stuff. But anyway, back to my story. You know, I started meditating when I was 16, and I started reading, you know, like learning about psychology and reading some books about changing your mindsets, and, you know, how we form our belief patterns and belief systems. And I didn't even realize you could even change your beliefs. And, you know, that's common knowledge now in this, you know, positive psychology environment that we're in now. You know, it's old news, you could say. But actually, it's something I'm constantly revisiting, because we're constantly forming beliefs and reacting to our environment and our society around us. And, you know, like, I might see something, or I might react to someone at the bus stop, and I just might get angry, and I might form a belief, you know, I don't want to be sitting around waiting. I get angry and I respond instead of, you know, I react instead of responding to, you know, what's going on around me. I'm not in my center. And as I started to learn to meditate, I was able to see these belief systems popping up in front of me. Hey, you know, I have this belief that I can't create my future. I have this belief that if I don't finish this particular course of study or this particular degree, I'm going to be a failure. And I ended up changing degrees a few times. I ended up taking the sciences later on. I dropped the chemistry and the biochemistry in when I was 16, and I ended up doing it in my 30s, picking it up again later on. Sometimes there's a timing factor in your life as well, and that doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you're meant to do something else at that point in your time. And in fact, that's a meaning that I created for myself. And this is how you can reframe, or they call this reframing in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, but this is just it's a practice that it was practiced centuries ago. You can choose your beliefs. Where were we told that we've been programmed? We are programmed by TV, by media, by school, our education system, our peers, our authority figures, bosses tell us, no, you can't do this. Well, who said? And who made them the authority? We are the ones that have given our power to these people. Sure, they have some past experience, but that's based on their life experience, not yours. And so now, of course, I respect the opinions of certain authority figures and people like scientists that are constantly researching new medicines or new natural cures, or quantum physics, or new things in science. I find it fascinating, and then I'll decide whether I want to take it on board and believe that, because science is constantly reinventing itself. What we thought was reality 1,000 years ago is total BS now. It's like it's fantasy, but it was taken as truth, as fact 1,000 years ago. Something like even that the Earth was the center of the universe. Well, now we see that, in our solar system, the sun is the center and the planets rotate around. But there's also another theory going around that, the Earth is actually flat. I don't know. A lot of that has been debunked. But who knows what science is going to prove in another 1,000 years. We might see other galaxies and other universes. They're exploring Mars at the moment. So there's all sorts of realities out there. It's just that we live in a society that's based on science and logic and reason, and we will only believe something if we see proof of it from a scientific, evidence-based approach. And this is what they teach in science degrees and science courses, which is what I went through. I studied a lot of science, and it's almost as if you cannot even speak or say anything unless you have the scientific proof or evidence of it. Well, I have my own proof for my own stuff in my own life. If you test something for yourself and it works for you, that's your own proof there. And they're calling that the placebo effect now, and this is a term that they use in psychology and science, is if you believe in something, you will make it like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that pill is going to make you better, you're going to create it. And now we're dealing into the realm of quantum physics. And this is the same thing. Going back to my original intent for this video, was changing the meaning of things in your life. If you change the meaning of what that pill is going to do in your body, if your will is strong enough, if your belief in that is strong enough, you will create that in your life. And that's why when you go back into your past, you can actually revisit it and perhaps even go into a meditation. And I might share a meditation with you later on, whether it's in this video or in another video, where we're going to go back into an event in your past and we're going to reframe it. We're going to change the meaning of it. It's like going back in history and changing the past. It's quite interesting. And it might sound a bit woo-woo and out there, but it's helped me, and it's helped a lot of my clients and people that I've worked with. It helped me in a big way. And so this is when I was 16, I was learning about how do we change our past, change the meaning. And it just completely changed my view of the world. I realized, hey, I'm in charge of my own mind. I can make my past a different meaning. It can mean something else altogether. The fact that parents split up doesn't mean that I'm a failure, or doesn't mean that I'm not loved, or doesn't mean that I don't deserve a full loving family. It just means that for whatever reason my parents grew apart, and there was a reason for that. And I learned a lot from that myself, and it's made me a more loving person. It's taught me a lot. So I've reframed that meaning, and actually now I'm really appreciative of both, of everybody and all of my experiences in my life. And it's hard to do sometimes. That you'll feel angry, you will feel emotions of loss, of sadness, and that's normal. It's okay to feel those feelings and feel them. Don't suppress them. Then it's time to take a look at those emotions and the beliefs that are behind them. Are they creating a negative effect in your life. And often, we reflect back a few years after the event, or sometimes earlier than the event, and we realize, this is not serving me anymore. How can I change that belief? For example, when I dropped out of chemistry and biochemistry and physics when I was in high school, 15 and 16 year old, and I felt like a failure because it was just too much for me at the time. I felt like I was a failure. I felt I was never going to succeed in life. And that was my reality. That was how I looked at myself. And then I thought, well, you know what? I need to give up on that. I'll just take a different path for myself. And, I entered the world and took a job in finance, insurance, banking industry. And, I did well. I saw the people working and doing well, earning money, investing money and doing really well. So I realized, it's university, science degrees, or whatever degree you're studying, whether you pass, whether you fail, whether you take a different path or you change course, in the end, you're not a failure. You're not going to fail. It's all there to teach you something. And I completely rechanged the meaning of my past. And in the end, 20 years later, I ended up going back to, 15, 20 years later, I redid my schooling again. I re-entered a new course of study. I did psychology to start off with, and then I finished off with another science degree. And that was me really still being programmed into the belief system that I needed a degree to succeed. That was my own belief system, but I also wanted to challenge myself, which is why I went back to do that degree. I wanted to prove to myself, actually, if I put my mind to this, I can program myself and I can believe that I can complete it. And I wanted to test my own belief systems. I wanted to see, was my 16-year-old self that thought and believed that she was a failure and she was never going to be able to complete a science degree, could I challenge that aspect of myself and could I actually complete this science degree? And I did. And yes, it was challenging, but I'm very happy to say that I did complete, and I am qualified naturopath as a result of that. I studied things that I never thought I would be able to. I had I completely lost faith in myself at that age, and I didn't believe that I could complete a physics or a science kind of chemistry, biochemistry focused course. And I did, and what that did for me was it gave me confidence. And I'm not saying that you have to go out and do a science degree or any degree for that matter, in order to feel successful or in order to improve your confidence levels or, feel good about yourself. Because you know what, that was just a story I made up for myself, and I realize that now. And it's a long story, it took me from age 16 to now, 20 years later, more than 20 years later, talking about it, hello, I could have learned that lesson, I did learn it. And I did change my path. I didn't really plan to go back to uni after I finished the psychology and the counselling training, because I was happy with that. I felt that this was my course and my purpose in life was to go and be a counsellor and work in the healing industry. And I became a healer. I ended up even working with and doing psychic and intuitive readings for people. And I still do that as well to a certain extent. And I love doing it. It's enjoyable. I'm working from my intuition now. You don't need a degree to work from your intuition. I'm working from my internal guidance, from my divine gifts, and that's the divine degree. I'm just made that up now on the spot. The divine degree. Do we need degrees from external authorities, or can we give ourselves our own internal divine degree? That's what I'm going to call it, your own divine degree. You've got your own gifts, you've got your own life purpose, your own life mission, your own divine degree, your divine mission. No person or external authority can take that away from you. That's yours. You were born, this is your birth plan, your birthright. You were born to share this gift. We all have a purpose. We all have come here to share and to play our part and influence each other. We are all reflections of each other. There is one, as I say, there is only one truth. There is one divine intelligence, which we are all individuated aspects of, like drops in the ocean. So really, the main purpose of this video today was I wanted to share with you is that, from my own personal experience in my life, is you can change your perspectives, your belief systems, and the stories you tell yourself to serve you better. And nobody else can tell you what that meaning of your life is or the events in your life. You get to change and decide that. So, stay tuned. In my next video, I'm going to actually do a meditation to transport you back to your past, and we're going to change a belief system. and you're going to reinvent your past. And therefore that's going to change you on a cellular level. It's going to change who you are, basically. It's going to change the way you look at your past and the way you look at your future, and it's going to actually shift the action that you take from now onwards, because we are living from our subconscious minds. 99% of our action and behavior is determined from our subconscious belief patterns and belief systems, which are determined by our upbringing, our conditioning, our reactions from the past, our reactive thought patterns, and emotional responses from our past, and conditioning and traumas from the past. And trauma isn't just like road trauma or really extreme trauma. That's trauma, but also we can be traumatized by what appears to be small events, rejections from lovers, or rejection from even childhood loves. That's trauma. And on those experiences, we form beliefs about ourselves. I'm not worthy, I don't deserve to be loved, I'm too awkward, I'm too weird, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm not good enough. For whatever reason, we make up stories, and the media doesn't help that a lot of times, because we are constantly being bombarded with images of people that are photoshopped, with the perfect makeup, with the perfect bodies, the perfect, I don't know what the perfect is. Is there such a thing? I don't think so. Well, we're all perfect, and we're all perfectly imperfect. And I think that's the beauty, is that we don't all look the same. Why would I want to look like somebody on the TV? I'm happy to look like me, in my full self, curves and all, and however I look. That's it. And when you reframe yourself and you believe that, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel that you look good. You're going to feel that, that you're perfect and perfectly imperfect in your own special way. And again, that's about your belief systems and how you see, how you see yourself. So stay tuned. For my next video, I'm going to do a past meditation, reshifting your past, basically. We're going to go back in time and change your belief systems and change your vibrational pattern, because when you change your thoughts, you change the way you feel about your past. And when you change the way you feel about your past, you can let go of it easier, you can heal easier, you can be free. It's very liberating. And this is what I was doing when I was in my early teens, late teens to early 20s. I was doing a lot of this work, and every now and then belief systems come up again that I need to heal, but I heal it a lot faster now because I can identify it quicker as well. And I want to help you do the same thing. And so just remember, you can change your belief systems, and remember that also that the belief systems of the people around you, no matter what degrees they have, they could have a PhD, they could have whatever qualification or position in society, government. We have governmental organization governing our mental condition. Why are we allowing governing of ourselves to external persons or to external figures that really, did we put them there? They've been presented to us that we supposedly in certain countries have voting rights, and we go out and vote, but we are given limited choice. And that's okay, because on a mass consciousness level, we've put them there. So I'm at peace with that. But also what I'm realizing is that by watching the reflection of even the external government, is that, hang on, I can govern myself. Internal government, governing my own mind, my own mental self, and my own emotional self. And therefore we can shift the patterns even in the external world by governing ourselves, taking back our power. This is about taking back our power. Why do we give all of our power to external authority? And the reason why we've done it is because we don't know, we haven't realized our own power. And as the planet shifts in consciousness, we are raising from 3D to 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional consciousness and beyond. And part of it is awareness of these capabilities of our own self. That's always been there. We just haven't been aware of it. We're like walking around blind like this. I can't see where I'm going. I can't see where I'm going. And I can't see what I'm thinking about. And until you bring awareness to it, then you can change it. So this is what it's about, bringing awareness to your past conditioning and to your current thoughts, the things that are affecting you now, and making a change. So that you can take new action steps, because you will literally be a new person, because you'll have a new mind. You will shift those belief systems, those old patterns, locked up in the subconscious mind, that you're not even aware of, that are running your life day to day. So that's all for today. Remember, be aware of what your mind is. Meditate so that you can kind of bring your mind to stillness and peace. And as you start to do that, you'll start to become more aware of those thoughts that aren't feeling, peaceful within yourself. You'll start to be aware of them. And, start writing them in a journal and start noticing the patterns, and then you can start to change them and heal them. Remember, be happy, be healthy, and live your passion. Bye for now.